All right, peace, peace. Peace, peace to each one of you. Today, this is my Shabbat, and I'd like to say thank you for joining me. Indigenous Talk for the Righteous Entertainment Network. And I don't know if you celebrate the Shabbat, but if you do, happy Shabbat to you. But if you don't, and you just here listening to the message, I like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. But don't forget to press that like button, the share button to those who you know needs to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe to the page if you haven't. Subscribe to the page. Okay? So we want to make sure that, you know, we hear from you. If you are in here, you would like to join the chat, join on the panel, you can come on up. The link is in the chat. But if you just want to just sit back and relax, fine, that's cool with me too. This is for this series is The War Between Male and Female. We're in part 10. It's a beautiful day. And I like to say, hey, all praises to the Creator. So, before I start, I like to get my shofar. And I like to blow it. Here we go. For the opening of the platform. Last one I kind of missed on that one. But shalom, shalom, shalom to each one of you. If you haven't seen part 1 through 9, I suggest you to go back and watch it, because it gives you insight on some of the things that we was already talking about, and it clarified up a lot of doctrine that was lied to us about the beginning of Genesis. Everybody got their own way of interpreting it, but when you really go into the language, then you'll see the way they wrote it is allegorical. It leads you to a bigger mind point. But a lot of us, we're not trying to get there. We just want to hold on to what we think and what we believe. And if that's your thing, hey, cool. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just here to just chill and just break down what the actual language is actually saying. So I'm not mad or upset or angry because you wants to hold on to the things you claim is right. That's your thing. That's your idea. That's what you believe. Got StreamYard messing up. Talking about my browser's losing connection. But I listen to some of the other people's platforms who's using StreamYard. They're doing the same thing. But eventually, we're going to straighten this whole thing out. But it's not my job to pay attention to what people believe. My job is just simply just to give the truth. Break down the words and just put it on the platform and leave it as that. So if you haven't yet saw part 1 through 9, because we're going to hit part 10 today, we're going to finish up part 10 in the female's curse, and we're going to move into the male's curse, or what we call judgment. Okay? But as we know from the serpent, or what we call the serpent curse was pretty straightforward. And when we look at the serpent's curse, the serpent was cursed to a cave. It's a cave dweller. The serpent also was cursed to be he's going to desire to follow, to be a follower. That's the heel. Okay? The serpent was excommunicated, meaning he was excommunicated away from everyone else. The serpent was judged to eat rubbish, meaning garbage, stuff that the Creator don't ordain to eat. The serpent's authority does not pass livestock in the lowest kind of man. Means he's the belowest of the below. The serpent can never please nor be in the presence of the Creator ever again. That's over. Them days are over. And the serpent curse was to be a follower and not ever to lead ever again. So you have to pay attention to these curses, because these curses are still happening today. When I scroll down to the female curse that we went into on last week, on last Shabbat, the female, see, she's when you're looking at the game of chess, she's not the most important piece on the chessboard, but she's the powerfulest piece on the chessboard. She's the most powerfulest piece. She can move however she want to move, but her whole agenda was supposed to be for the king. The female is not the important piece on the chessboard, but she is the powerfulest piece. That's why a female has to learn her strength, her influence. Number 2, she will have a hard time finding a husband. All this is part of judgment. And I'm gonna get into that today, and why is this? We're gonna go further into it than what we did on last Shabbat, on last week. And a husband don't mean you just got a man in the house. We gonna get into a husband. Number 3, she will have a hard time bringing forth children. We're gonna kind of touch into that as well. Number 4, she will have a hard time maintaining her body. We're gonna kind of touch on that today as well. Number 5, she will have a hard time being royal, because she lost that when she gave up, when she decided to eat the result of that fruit. She gave up her role in the garden. So she's going to be looking for that role as a royal again, but she's going to have a hard time finding that. Number 6, she's looking for that power in corporate realm, to be somebody inside of another realm. A lot of females are chasing that power in another position, in another realm than the realm that they're supposed to be in. We're gonna kind of touch on that a little bit again today, because we touched on a lot of that last week. Number 7, she will be more disagreeable. A lot of females are not gonna be humble. They're gonna be more disagreeable than actually agreeable. I'm not saying all females, I'm just saying this is overall. Because they're in competition with the male. And I'm gonna show you that today. Number 8, she answers only to the system and not her husband. Because a lot of females today backs the system before they back their own house. That's why the system supports them the way it does. Because that's who most of the females are married to. They're married to the system. Number 9, she don't know how to compromise with her husband. A female gets selfish. And she gets within herself, for herself. This what happens. Number 10, she loses the youthfulness by trying to please something else. In her younger stage, she gains and gravitate and give herself to her youthfulness, to everything else, before she gives it to her own husband. Number 10, she loses the youthfulness. No, that's number 10. Number 11, she has no room for her husband in her life, because everything else in her life crams up her life. So when the male tries to come in, he can't find his way, or he can't find a seat because all the seats are taken. That reminds me of that evangelist, Juanita Bynum, that sermon she had called "Get Off the Train." Every time the train comes to a stop, that instead of the people that was around you from the beginning needs to get off, so that the right people can get on who needs to take you to the next stop. You keep everybody around you that you're comfortable with. So therefore, when the right people come around you to take you to the next level, they have no of sitting. They don't have no way of sitting down. Every place is crowded. So when they get to the next stop, they just go ahead on and get off the train. So we wonder why we can't go to the next level. It's simply because you got too many people that's on the train that's supposed to have done got off. So when you find the right male, he has no room because you're already full up with your job. You're already money-wise, protection-wise. You see, vision-wise, everything is already covered. So the male don't find where he fits into your life, so he leaves. And number 12, the female will break down because she tries to play both roles, which will make her soul tired. And a lot of females are tired today because they are trying to take on roles that does not fit them or belongs to them. And this is the war that's going on between the male and the female. So just make sure when you come into the platform, make sure you press that like button, you press that share button, if you haven't yet subscribed to the page, please subscribe to the page to let other people know that we're here. Okay, please make sure you please do that. Do so by pressing that like, share, and subscribe button for this channel. And if you like to give, you can look at the bottom. You can see where it says subscribe and press the thumbs up. Please Indigenous Talk for the Righteous Network LLC. The Cash App is RETDAY, $INDIG15. You can give through the Cash App. because we're looking to take this page a little bit further, a little bit better than what we have right now today. Well, without no further ado, we want to go ahead on and get into part 10, even though we already in part 10 now. But I was just recapping into the part of the first curse that we already went into on last Shabbat, last week. Into the female. Okay? So we want to kind of move forward and I want to get into the first video. Let me pull it up real quick. We have to get to the point that especially females, into the point of repenting. It's not saying that all the weight belongs on you. Wait till I get to the male part. The male gonna have a hard time. He has a hard time with this curse. Okay, but we finishing up the female curse. So give me a minute. Let me type this in. Um, um, Give me 1 second. And if anybody want to say anything, they can. They have the opportunity now to say something. All right, here we go. See, we're inside of the curse. And this video is called how the uterine fibroids disproportionately affects the melanated or the black woman. This is one of the reasons why a lot of let me go ahead and turn this. Well, this is the reason why a lot of so-called women cannot have black women cannot have they having miscarriages and not able to have babies. So let me get back in and let me share my screen. Share my screen. We're gonna start off with a video. And we're gonna, and I say fair use to the 170, to the Act of 170. This is not my material. We just here for constructive criticism and teaching purposes. So let's get it. Do y'all see the screen?
My mom had fibroids. She lost a set of twins to fibroids. Thought she couldn't have any children, adopted, and then miraculously got pregnant with me.
When my mom spoke to me about her uterine fibroids, it made me feel that I'm not the only person, right? But at the same time, I still felt like, is this something that my mom and I are going through alone? Like, why aren't more people talking about it?
So notice one thing. She said her mom has it, and a lot of people are not talking about this thing. And this is the thing that a lot of sisters needs to bring awareness. See, I wanted to have like a sister show. That's something that I want to have in the future. Where's that? We have like a sister show during the week, to bring up information that helps sisters. But we have to, but this is part of the curse. That something is going to take place inside of your body. This is one of the points of where a lot of sisters are going to have issues at, of actually conceiving and bringing forth children and conceiving to become pregnant. Let's ride.
When I got diagnosed, it was after years of dealing with it. It was after multiple blood transfusions, and it was 6 months after I got married.
So notice this now. She was dealing with this for a long time. This is not something that she just all of a sudden just was dealing with. This was something that was going on probably since she was young. So, excuse me, I don't want y'all to think that this just something that just pop up overnight. No. This is hereditary. That's right.
I said to myself, okay, maybe now is the time that, what are these fibroids? Let me wait.
Uterine fibroids, which are medically called leiomyomas, are benign, meaning non-cancerous tumors in the wall of the uterus or the womb. Fibroids tend to present in the reproductive window. They are most commonly symptomatic in patients in their 30s and 40s. The most common symptoms being pelvic pain, heavy menstrual bleeding, abdominal bloating and abdominal distension, lower back pain, infertility. Fibroids can also be associated with recurrent pregnancy loss in patients that have had multiple losses.
This is what I've been trying to tell you all. This is part of the woman's judgment. She's going to have a hard time conceiving. And even when some women have conceived through having this issue, this is something that we have to really pay attention to, because they say infertility. Infertility means she cannot get pregnant, or she's having a hard time becoming pregnant. See? So we have to really pay attention to this. Let's go. Because sometimes women will have babies and then end up suffering from this issue later on in their lives. Okay, let's go.
There are some racial disparities. One of the studies looking at a young cohort of individuals with a uterus who were between the age of 71, we found that about 26% of women from African descent had fibroids, even though they didn't have symptoms from them. They had fibroids present on ultrasound, whereas only about 7%, 6 to 7% of women of European descent were found to have fibroids.
So now you know who the curse back in Genesis was talking about. Now you know who the curse was dealing with. Melanated women. Okay, let's go.
We see a number of disparities, and many of those differences are driven by societal inequities. We need to get to a place of equity around fibroid care and around fibroid research. Finally, after years and years and years, there's new FDA approved medications that are available to help treat symptoms of fibroids. It's amazing to me that we're not running through the streets talking about fibroids, given their prevalence, given that they continue to be the leading cause of hysterectomy in the United States. I want better. I want more. I think we deserve more.
And hysterectomies is when the woman loses her uterus. This is part of the curse or judgment. Okay, let's ride.
my very first appointment, the doctor told me that my husband and I should think about surrogacy because I needed to have a hysterectomy, because the way uterine fibroids were in my body and in my uterus, there was no way that being a mother traditional way was going to be for me. To have
So the Bible's, I mean, the doctor, excuse me, the doctor she said that the doctor told her to have a surrogacy, a woman outside to carry their baby because she won't be able to carry it. Let's go.
him say to me that that was my option was completely devastating. I know I'm not the only woman who hears the diagnosis, and I just knew that that could not be the end of it. I really started this organization because I wanted a safe place for myself. It's about saying that you are not in this alone.
I appreciate all of you tonight being in your white dresses. I cannot tell you how many text messages I got like, girl, for real with the white. But it's not because we feel comfortable, but it's because we know that it's a symbol. It's a symbol of hope.
When you think about, I can never wear white, I just have to have black in my closet. For women with symptomatic fibroids, it resonates with them.
Tonight is about making sure that as women, we remember the community and the sisterhood that we have and that we can build together.
I've been on my fertility journey for 4 years now. I have had 2 failed embryo transfers. So what I have battled with is this idea of being so strong for people and wanting to encourage women so much to share and be open and be hopeful. And sometimes feeling like that's not there for me, right? Because I think when you are this advocate, you have a person and you have to be encouraging. So it is a balancing act. It is a situation that I deal with constantly. And what I have found is that through that encouragement of others, I get the encouragement back.
We have to really change the script around fibroids. I've talked to so many patients over the years who just feel like, well, this is just what it means to be a woman. This is just what I have to deal with. And it's just like, no, we have a higher bar than that.
When I think about my voice, and every time I share my story, I tremble and my voice shakes. But when I think about getting through it, I think about how I've just encouraged somebody else.
So when you see, I wanted to kind of post this video to show that fibroids is actually part of the curse of the female. We have to literally get to the point of literally start to talk about this curse and be honest. We have to be honest. Okay? This is what happened because of the garden. Let's run down a couple of more. Problems with ovulation. I'm putting it in the chat. Problems with ovulation. See, a lot of females have a problem with ovulating. Okay? This is when the female's menstrual cycle releases the egg from one of the ovaries. The female have 2 ovaries. But sometimes there'll be problems with the ovulation. See, the female, when it says about she's going to have problems in conception and bringing forth and producing, is that it's going to show how strenuous and how the judgment came upon the woman's body. Okay? She's going to have problems with the ovulation. Bye. She's going to have problems with ovulation. Number 2, there's going to be what is called a block. A block. Let me make sure I get this right. Here we go. A block fallopian tube. A block fallopian tube. That's going to be another one. Okay. A blocked fallopian tube means when it is commonly blocked or damaged because of scarring on the walls of the tubes caused by infection. It can also be blocked by what? Diseases. So there are reasons of why a fallopian tube is blocked. See, this deals with a woman becoming pregnant. Okay. You have another one. It's called endometritis. Endometritis, something like that. Metrois. Endometrius. And that is when the tissue similar to the lining of the uterus womb grows outside of the uterus.
You talking about endometriosis?
Endometriosis. Yeah, thank you for the correction. I don't know some of these words. So these are you familiar with that? Are you go ahead.
A little. I mean, I've heard some women say that they had issues with it.
And what are some of the issues they say they have with it?
Bad menstrual cycles, heavy bleeding, just painful abdominal pain with sexual activities that can be caused by that as well.
Okay. And then we got the PCOS. PCOS. All right. That is the hormones that happens during the reproduction years. May not have periods often, or may have periods that last many days. Or you may have too much hormone called androgen in your body. Okay? These are some of the things I'm telling you what causes a woman to
Estrogen.
have the estrogen. Okay, the definition I pull up was called androgen. Okay, estrogen. Okay, in your body.
That's another one too.
Oh, is it? Well, break it down.
No, I'm good. I was just saying too much estrogen as well.
Okay, what that can cause?
Just like to maybe be a little more hormonal, moody. Just I get the actual definition, but sometimes we as females can have a lot of estrogen.
Okay. And while she's doing that, the next one is premature menopause. That could cause a female to not get pregnant. Premature menopause. Okay. The next one is we just saw the video is fibroids. We just saw that video, fibroids. Okay. And the last one is thyroids. That's why I say this judgment is serious on the female's body. And that's problems and condition called Turner syndrome. You can look that up. Turner syndrome. So when the creator was telling her she's going to have problems in that conception, see, he was talking about her body conceiving to get a baby and bringing forth a baby. She's going to have problems with her body. Okay? That's why I'm saying this is not, the curse is not something that the curse is not something, or the judgment, if that's what you want to use, is not something that we want to, play around with. We want to be able to monitor what's going on, because we want to get out of this. We want to get to the Sabbath. We want to get to the Sabbath to rest with the Creator. We got a lot of stumbling blocks in our way. We're getting ready to get into another video. This one is called Black Christians Unified in a Faith, but divided by their stances on abortion. This is fair use still again. This is not my material. We are using this material for teaching purposes only. This is under the Fair Use Act of 1970. So I want to say we're going to, this is for teaching purposes only. So let's get it. Let me share my screen. All right. Like I say, fair use. Let's ride.
Than abortion. But in the back, there are a few topics more polarizing than abortion. But in the Black community, it's where the realities of inequality collides with faith and politics. Tonight, we explore how the value of human life
fits. I just want to say this. Isn't he look like BB Winans? I just got to throw that out there. Let's ride.
Into the conversation around Black lives. Here's ABC's Deborah Roberts.
When you saw what happened here, did your whole family talk about it?
That was the time for the conversation, the conversation that you have with your sons about how the world is going to see them differently. My 18-year-old son just started driving. He's a good kid, but the world sees him as a threat.
So she says that the world sees her son as a threat, but he's a good kid. All right. And that's true. Most of us melanated men, the world looks at us as a threat. And it's not so much that they see us as a threat. Most of the time, we put ourselves out there to look as to be like a threat. You don't change who you are, but you be who you are, and you stand on your square as who you are. Let's ride.
Standing here at this weather-beaten memorial for Michael Brown, Sherilyn Holloway reflects on the moment her own activism was ignited.
We have to recognize that we do not respect the human dignity of Black men and women.
How much does that factor into your feelings about abortion?
And it's all relevant because here's a man who was shot. He couldn't defend himself. The same way a baby can't defend themselves in the womb. Both of those lives matter, and both of those lives deserve to have someone to
They see, abortion is that a lot of females believe. Some females believe. Let me correct myself. Some female believe that, you know, there's the baby is not in what's inside of the womb is not alive until it literally comes out, or until it gets to a certain stage. But they're not realizing that inside of their body is life. But because they are looking at it from a whole nother perspective and listening to others from another perspective, they're not taking totality of the outcome of their body that is living. They are a living person, but they view what's inside of them dead. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's ride.
And I can do both. From the womb to the tomb, all of it matters.
Sherilyn is the founder of Pro-Black, Pro-Life. Here in Missouri, as in a number of states across the country, challenges to Roe v. Wade are mounting, and as most Americans believe women should have access to abortion.
This is the last abortion clinic in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, we are it. The laws in Missouri are very strict. So it just made it hard for people to stay up here. They don't oversee abortion and advanced care and things of that nature.
You're a Black woman. Yes. You're a Christian.
Yeah, I am.
You're also a strong advocate for abortion rights.
Yes.
Is that a conflict?
To other people, I'm Black. I'm a woman. I love God. I go to church and I believe in abortion.
Now stop. She says she talking about she's Black, she's a woman, she loves God, and she believes in abortion. Now, how can you say that you follow the Creator when one of the commandments in the Bible says what? Thou shalt not murder or kill. Now, if somebody was running into your house to come against your family, now you have the option now to what? Protect your family. You have to kill. But just to say you go out there and have fun or you get pregnant. Now I'm not saying that. Like I said, I went into the scripture once before. I think in part 8 that you don't supposed to get rid of the mother or the father. I mean the mother and the father. You don't, if you go and get the eggs, you go get the eggs, but you don't kill the hen or the chicken. You go get the eggs because what's going to lay the eggs after you kill the mother? So when I go out there and I listen to some of these people, why is it that they just kill just to kill? Just because they don't want to be a mother, or they're not ready for motherhood, or they say, oh, that was just a one-night stand. I don't want this baby. We're not talking about the life of the mother, because we talked about that in part 8. We're talking about abortion, people that just want to just go out there and have the hot girl summer. Go look up how many children was aborted on 2 years ago that's in the melanated community. Let's go.
Kawana and Sherilyn are really similar in so many ways. Two moms who believe that Black Lives Matter and that God is real. But on that one subject, their activism, abortion, they're on opposite ends of the aisle.
Because one is not following the law and one is. Like she said, Michael Brown, the first sister said, Michael Brown, he couldn't speak for himself that day. The same as a baby in the womb could not speak for themselves. So somebody has to be the advocate for them. So either they're going to be the advocate for the law of the Creator or they're not. And this is the reason why a lot of us, the reason why a lot of sisters are not conceiving or bringing forth because of abortion. Let's go.
The issue uniquely affecting their community.
17%
Black women
higher.
have the
Black women,
highest
17%
abortion
higher
rates,
than what?
17%
White women.
higher than white women. Within
That's
the
high.
Black church, it sometimes feels like no one asks, no one tells.
A number of the impoverished single mothers that I went to church with, they were suffering under a need for reproductive rights in order to make ends meet.
Reproductive rights. That's why I told you about the conception. The conception is real. The enemy needed you to move the man out of the way. So the house collapsed. Now it's around the woman. And now the woman is now making a choice of having her baby or having a position in corporate. That's right.
But our pastors from the pulpit would force upon them the idea that God would see you as guilty. And yet, here we were, all together still. So in a lot of ways, we preached something that I want to call complex. It was an interesting and strange hypocrisy.
For both Kawana and Sharon, the issue is deeply personal.
So she said that woman pastor said it was hypocrisy to preach that you be guilty. I know some sisters that had abortions and those who have lost babies. The ones that had the abortion, they felt guilty after the abortion because they realized they lost life. And I know some sisters that have lost a baby, not through abortion, but they baby just lost because it was born early or it died in conception. And they still dwell on that baby. So when we're talking about conceiving, this is a real judgment. But we have people that plays on the guilt or the shame of the woman for political outcomes. Abortion takes away a woman's conception. Let's go.
At what point did you state your feeling about abortion and whether it's right or should be? Yeah. After your second one?
After my second one.
You did have a second abortion?
I did. I sat on my floor and I wept.
She wept. I just sat there and told y'all that a female knows when she is taking life. Because her job is to bring forth life. Not to kill it or murder it. But let's go.
At that point is when the Lord started to really work on me because I was tired of being a subpar Christian. I was tired of saying I was a Christian and not acting like one.
Your argument is not just anti-abortion.
I realized that I couldn't just be pro-life, that I also had to be pro-Black in order to ensure that for generations to come, that we still exist.
See, it's about generations. It's about bloodline. It's not just about your desire or your hot girl summer. It's about bloodline. You are taking away generations. Let's go.
Do you think abortion should be illegal?
I think abortion should be unnecessary.
People often say she had 5 kids and she died for abortion. That was my choice. I had the right to choose to carry to.
Would be surprised.
She said she has the rights to do that. So remember I told y'all on the chessboard, the woman is the most powerful piece, the most influential piece. But she has to realize what kingdom is she's working for. Because if she killed the baby that will become a pawn, later on will grow up to be a rook, castle, or a knight, or even a king, then you're leaving your house open and vulnerable to be deleted permanent. That's right.
to hear you say God is calling you
Yeah.
to help provide abortion rights.
Yeah. And then I would say to them, what is God calling you to do? You need somebody always in the midst of the mud. If you
See, which side is she working for? And they always use the word God. Oh, God is calling me. But you don't see the curse of the conception. And part of that woman having a problem conceiving is because of abortion. Let's go.
have an issue with where God has placed me to be able to fight for people, then that's something you got to take up for God.
Yours is not a face that we see often in the pro-life anti-abortion movement. Is that a difficult place for you to be?
I'm bringing forth a message that is very different from what they're used to hearing or saying for people that look like me that are in the pro-life movement. If we are going to talk about the life issue in terms of race, then let's talk about it completely and wholly. The reality is this is the structure in the country that you built. Stop using my community as a talking point if you really aren't going to be there for my community.
God is complex. And God knows that a fetus is a beautiful part of a continuing creative legacy. And yet, so too is the opportunity that that fetus has to even survive if it's inside of a Black birthing body. Let's talk about medical apartheid and Black birthing rates. If Serena Williams can't have a good birthing story, please don't talk to me about Peaches and them out here outside of my church, struggling to find medical care.
This Black skin is beautiful, but it's hard. We suffer in poverty, healthcare, and so it's a barrier on top of us when we decide to make a decision to terminate. The woman,
They make a decision of terminating. And look at her face. Look how she's looking. Because when you make that decision and not the creator, you become a murderer. And this is one of the reasons why the female is having problems conceiving and bringing forth. Let's ride.
who is suffering, we still need to see to her. We still need to help her. That's Black lives. So I'm not going to turn my back on the Black girls who choose abortion. I'm not going to do that.
Hi, everyone. But at the same time, you don't turn your back on them, but you don't tell them what the Creator says about killing. Make sure y'all press that like and subscribe button and the share button, please. Anything before I move forward? This is the problem that we have. This is the problem that a lot of females is having inside of bringing conception. Let's go to another one. This one is a trans woman confesses to living with boyfriend and parent for 3 months. And none knew she was a trans. Let's ride. Let me cue it up. Let me share. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. Hold on for a minute.
I lived with my boyfriend and his parents for 3 months. And none of them knew that I was transgender. I'm going to tell you how she found out.
Shalom, everybody. This is Sister Yakana. I have that information on what estrogen is. Estrogen is any of a group of steroid hormones which promote the development and maintenance of female characteristics of the body. Such hormones are also produced artificially for use in oral conception or to treat menopausal or menstrual disorders. So that is what estrogen is used for.
All right, you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Let's get into it because StreamYard is really fucking up today. StreamYard is really fucking up today.
I met my boyfriend here in New York, and
All right, let's go.
my boyfriend and his parents 2 months, and none of them knew each other. I'm gonna tell you how she found out. So basically, here's a little background on me. I started transitioning when I was a teenager, and I went through the whole scenario. I met my boyfriend here in New York, and
Don't he look like a female? This person looked like a female. And they was talking for 3 months. Okay, let's go.
staying in Buffalo, but he relocated to New York, homeless. I met him outside.
So the boyfriend was homeless. The boyfriend was homeless. Okay? She met him at a homeless shelter. Go, let's go.
We eventually ended up getting together, and he told me that he was going to move back in with his parents and he would let me to come live. So I went, and I didn't tell him, yo, I'm trans. He introduced me to his mom.
Now notice he say he didn't tell him that he was a trans. Now think about that now. This is another conception problem that a female is going to have, is that there's going to be a lot of females that are really men. Let's go.
He introduced me to his dad. I met a few of his siblings. And I was even laying in the bed. There are times that I was showering and my mom would come in and nobody had a clue. So one day I asked him to.
So I don't really want to get that music in the background, but he said he was laying in the bed, taking a shower and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Let's go.
And my phone was not working.
I came in and the phone wasn't working.
I logged into my Instagram account.
He said he logged into his Instagram 2 accounts. Go ahead.
One for people that know.
And one for people that he knew. And one that he did not know.
So I ended up forgetting to log out. And his mom went to use her phone after me. And the next day, when I woke up, I just found her acting really funny. She was acting really strange. She loved me, but then she started acting very standoffish.
Now, notice the mom was acting standoffish after she used that phone after him. He said, yeah, his mom loved me. But now she's in a standoffish mode. Now keep going. Let's go.
Almost like, you betrayed me. Like, you could see the look in her eye. So, I finally decide that I've had enough with the tension, and I want to ask her, what's really good? Like, what's going on? What's beef? So she's like, you logged into my phone last night. Do you know what you left on there? I said, no, nothing. I should log out. And she said, I went to your page and I watched your videos. I said, what videos? She says, of your transition. You didn't tell us. So then it's like, you were around my kids. You were around my grandkids. You were around my nieces and nephews. Why didn't you tell me this? I said, ma'am, listen,
You make it seem like I'm a threat to the public safety or something.
Now notice what he said. Oh, you making it seem like I'm a threat to the public safety. But here it is, you going against the lifestyle of that they have. So that makes you a public threat.
Right, because why not tell the truth about who you really are or what you were doing? Because she or he knew that they probably didn't accept that.
That's right.
So that's deception all around.
That is true.
A regular girl, but I knew if I would said something that I would be late. I'm a regular girl. Something.
Notice what he say. He's a regular girl. How's you a regular girl?
It was breaking up. I didn't hear the part about he was saying that he knew he would do something and it was breaking up.
Okay, let's ride back.
Why didn't you tell me this? I said, ma'am, listen, you make it seem like I'm a threat to the public safety or something. I'm a regular girl, but I knew if I would have said something that I would be labeled otherwise and I would be dehumanized and treated funny. That's what.
Tell me how she's a regular girl. You're not regular. You're a trans. And the mother thought that she was real. And probably had hope at looking to have grandchildren. And you mean to tell me that the son did not know that this was a trans? Let's go.
I didn't say nothing. She said, well, you got to get up and help clean up. You know what? If you're going to be living here, you got to help clean up. She started getting real, snappy. So I'm like, I'm just going to pack my things and go because I know that's the next thing you're going to say. She said, yeah. Does my son know? I said, nah. She said, you know what? We're going to keep it between us, but you better go.
You see that? I'm going to leave it right there. The mama said you got to keep it between us. So the mother was against her son.
So I wonder why she said we would keep it between us instead of her letting her son know. Did she fear the fact that if he found out that he would have probably tried to kill him? More likely. She probably didn't want him to go to jail, but I mean, she still should have let him know so that way, if anything like that happens again, he'll be more cautious because that's crazy for him not to know unless that surgery was that good. Wow.
But see, that's part of conception. You have these trans out here dating these men. And they're covering this thing up when they find out who the person really is.
Okay, so they were dating for 3 months. There's no way they must have wasn't intimate because even though he or she was going through a transition, they must have didn't take it to the next level. They didn't have sex or anything like that. Because if that was the case, then that would have been the deal breaker right there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't see how if they did, how that wouldn't have been obvious. So I don't know. But I guess he or she didn't get into that.
Did he not look? Did he not look real, like a female? Yes.
Yeah, because I had to look and then I was like, is that the fit? Yeah.
See, a lot of straight men are going after these type women. So we want to move on into the next video. Then we're going to get some scriptures after this. This one, teacher tells black single moms to stop creating feminine sons. And this is what happens. Fair use under the 1970 Act.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Shay Duke Jackson. And we talk about it here. Shop have a lot of conversation involving black masculinity. And we talk about it here. Shout out to Dr. C.S. Johnson, masculine black masculine studies is what he teaches over at Fresno State. It's important. I'm not hating on anybody, but for heterosexual black men, understanding your role, understanding what you're supposed to do as a heterosexual black man in your community with your wife and your kids is very paramount. It's how it's always been, right? But however, in today's world, there's much tolerance for men and women who express their sexuality differently. And for some particular brothers who might live the alternative lifestyle, that could be expressed more in a feminine.
And we just saw a video with the alternative lifestyle.
Feminine character sort of way. But now it's just not, the LGBT people who have that, proclivity or could have that proclivity, because not every gay person is feminine like a woman, right? But what we're seeing now is like black boys wearing bonnets to school. That's a big thing. You're seeing a lot of black young men being a little bit more feminine in how they dress. Doesn't mean that they're actually LGBT, but it comes off as, a little bit feminine to certain people. And this has really made Bianca Robinson, the substitute teacher, very upset. So much so that here's what she's saying on her. Women, your son pick up female traits. I have the itchiest boys in my class. I know y'all have some men around somewhere. This ish is getting ridiculous. One of the tweets said. Now, of course, she was fired for this.
Y'all see her video? She said, let's read it again. Black women raising boys, please stop letting your sons pick up female traits. This is what she's saying. Stop letting your sons pick up female traits. I have the B-ist boys in my class, meaning having female traits. I know y'all have some men around somewhere. This is getting ridiculous. Now, you know when you work for somebody, you got to have decorum. You got to be careful what you post, because people, your job watching your Facebook and your Instagram and your YouTube page. But what she said was the truth. She's speaking the truth. Because when a man want to be with another man, that stops conception. Let's ride.
I know y'all have some men around somewhere. This ish is getting ridiculous. One of the tweets said. Now, of course, she was fired for this. Okay. And obviously she said some stuff I'm not going to get into, she was, being mean to some of the students. But that one offended me. that cost her job. Say this. Certain things that you might say could have some truth or not truth to it. But of course, when you work for people, you have to have some decorum.
You got to have decorum. You can't just say all kind of stuff, especially when you work for people that checks behind you on your personal pages. Let's ride.
But what she said just now on that tweet, I hear Black women saying that every single day about Black boys and Black men. Want to know what you hear? What they say? If we're gonna be real, a lot of brothers are too feminine.
See, a lot of brothers are too feminine. That's conception problem. That's a conception problem. And nobody's addressing this issue. It's like people are scared to address this issue. Let's ride.
Too soft. They are mama's boys. They are 50-50 Negroes. They are not real men. They want to be taken care of. They don't want to provide. Okay? And what the young lady is saying on the Twitter, albeit it's something that she shouldn't say publicly if you work somewhere. I hear Black women saying it all the time. And she said, I know y'all got some, where that to help us mean the men ain't there.
That's right. The men is not there. And that's a conception problem. Women are having babies with no men around. And the men don't have no way of developing to become a man. They have an idea of what they think is a man, but they don't know what a real man really is. That's right.
Why are the men ain't there? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because I'm going to say this. The men, in many cases, were not supposed to be there because society has told us, you're a strong Black woman. You don't need no man.
He said, what? Let's go back again. Because this is the curse. This is the plan for the serpent, for the woman eating the fruit. Let's ride.
Let's talk about it. Because I'm going to say this. The men, in many cases, were not supposed to be there because society has told us, you're a strong Black woman.
Man wasn't supposed to be there. You're a strong Black woman.
You don't need no man.
You don't need a man.
You can do everything that a man can do.
You can compete against a man and become that man. Let's ride.
But there is one thing that many women have an issue doing. That is shaping and mentoring men to be men.
They cannot teach a boy how to be a man. That's where the man comes in.
Something that is very difficult. Right? You look at these communities.
Because remember what I said at the beginning, every man, inside of this realm, male and female have the same role. But the same purpose, the same purpose. But the roles within that purpose are different. And they cannot cross each other. And if they cross each other, that's where you're going to have confusion. Let's ride.
That are prospering anywhere in the country. What are you going to see?
Let me mute this down. Let this commercial go on by. Let's go.
2-parent households. These communities that are prospering anywhere in the country. What are you going to see? 2-parent households.
And we're going to talk about that.
Boys are more productive when their fathers are there.
We're going to talk about that.
Not because their fathers are the best men or their fathers, but there tends to be a model, right? Most people, what it is to what your goals are, what are your roles. What tends to happen that I see is that women, when they have sons, in the black community tend to baby them a little bit more.
Oh, there we go. Women ought to date in our community, the melanated community, they baby the boys. And we wonder why they act a little effeminate or have feminine traits. Let's go.
The daughter didn't understand what it is to be a man. What are your goals? What are your roles? And what tends to happen that I see is that women, when they have sons, in the black community tend to baby them a little bit more. The daughters are not baby. So the daughters end up being more productive than the sons. And that's why Ron Mills had wrote an article a long time ago talking about black women complain about the men they create. They create the same men they complain about.
Listen to that. They create the same man that they complain about. They raise these young men to be the way they are. Because there's no male figure around that they are following. And the females complain about it. I want that to sink into your mind for a minute. See, this is what part of conception, bringing forth a child, actually is part of your judgment. You complain about what you bring forth. But it's your job to teach that child. But because you didn't want to teach that child, now you complain about that child. It's too late. Let's go.
A long time again, talking about black women complain about the men they create. They create the same men they complain about.
This is the seed that wants to rule.
And that's true. A lot of black women they don't like, let me just say this. A lot of black women don't have problems with, let's say, a man who is, let's say maybe a little bit more feminine acting, even a man that's gay. But what a lot of women are going to have problems with are men who don't want to take charge, men who don't want to take responsibility. And obviously, if you want a heterosexual man and a heterosexual man is not wed to, then that's going to be the issue. That's going to be the issue. And women complain about it every day in Black America. Now you're going to have people saying, what she's saying is hate speech. And I get it, because to put that out there, that is hate speech, right, on Twitter. You can't say that. She tried to delete the tweets. But now, do we know that's something that people complain about, just like black men? Black men all over the United States are complaining about sisters are not feminine enough. Okay? Black men are acting too feminine. Women are acting too masculine. If you were to say that, that's something that most folks agree with. But now, being their own particular, black men masculine enough for a lot of black women who want a lot of black men is feminine for a lot of black men? No. But the opposite can be true. And the problem is the balance is out of order in our community.
Did you hear what he just sat there and said? And that's where we wanted to go. The balance is gone. And judgment has came upon us as a nation of people. And this is the reason why we don't understand why we're in the position that we're in. We about done. We about done with this video. Let's go.
That's the issue. We as men, if we want to see boys come into what they're supposed to do, they need mentorship.
He said they need mentorship. You can't leave a young man out there by himself or be raised by his mother. That's not the way it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Let's go.
Women, if you want to be able to be a builder, you need to have some.
You hear what he said? If a mother won't her child to be a builder. She has to be attached to a man that is a builder. Let's go.
Who is going to have those qualities and want to see your son have those qualities?
That is what you call the legacy that is passed down and being passed down to the son. That is passed down and being passed down to the son. Let's go.
We got to get away from, you know what? I can raise a boy to be a man. That's just like me. I can raise a young girl. Not know anything raising a woman. I would need a lot of help getting a young woman to be a girl, or a girl to be a woman. I would, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't know what to do as a young kid.
Because there are different roles. There are different roles. He's speaking power. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Celebrity Junk channel. That's right.
What do you right? That's just like what we're seeing with women dealing with young men. And the answer is, are the men in our community being raised without a father? Are they as productive as men that are coming from two-parent households? I think that the proof is in the pudding there. And women are being upset with that because the guys that they're interacting with, they don't feel like these guys are masculine enough. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again.
Any comments before we move on? See, we have to get to the point where it's that we understand what's really taking place. The woman gonna have issues bringing forth and producing children. And it's not just body-wise, it's the mindset that she helped and let be developed in that child, especially the male child. Let's grab a couple of scriptures. Lamentations, the 4th chapter, verse 3. Proverbs 22, Proverbs 22nd chapter, verse 6 and verse 15. Proverbs, the 29th chapter, verse 15 and 17. Proverbs, the 23rd chapter, verse 13. Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, verse 7. Proverbs, the 13th chapter, verse 24. Proverbs 19, verse 18. 1 Samuel, the 1st chapter, verse 27 and 28. And Isaiah, the 54th chapter, verse 13. We're going to get into this. Let's start out with Lamentations 4 and 3. Let's grab that real quick. I can't hear you if you're reading.
Even the sea monsters draw out the breath. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Because if you understood about the ostrich in the wilderness, what they do, they'll forget where their eggs at. And then they'll walk back over and crush it. A lot of the ostriches, that's what they do. See, we don't understand. We forget about our children. That a son needs the father. The daughter needs a father in the house too, to know what type of man that she should choose. And the male, the boy, needs a male figure so as that he can realize and get to understand the legacy that he must continue to keep building upon. But we don't get it. We don't get it. Because we don't understand the curse, because the woman could think she can raise a boy. She can't. Just like the father would think that he can teach her, he could raise a female. He can't. He can have a hand in her life, but it's that woman that's going to raise that female. And it's that man that's going to raise that boy.
Well, you've had some single mothers that, when the sons or the boys are younger, they raise them, but when they start getting to a certain age, depending on what type of father they have, they will want that father to pretty much continue raising that child because he's almost into manhood. Now, some people may say that's backwards because it should have been there all along, but they realize that, okay, he's about to enter manhood and I can't teach him anything else. He needs a man's figure, or he needs a man's, advice in order to really live in this world as a man.
Correct. Because when he starts to have children, then the point is, what type of woman is he's going to choose, if he chooses a woman now, today at all? And what type of, if he has a young man, what type of manhood he's going to give his son? And what type of womanhood he would teach his daughter? Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up the child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Everybody knows this verse. A child is supposed to be trained in the position that they're supposed to be in. When they get older, they will understand what life and the path they needs to come back to. Older don't mean in age. It can mean in maturity of understanding. Let's jump down to verse 15. It says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. That means a child is thinking foolish.
So they always want to get into something.
They always want to get into something. But the rod of correction shall drive it far away from him. See, I can't be afraid of disciplining my child when I see those tendencies in them or her. I have to make sure that I drive those tendencies away from him or her. Because we're talking about the judgment of the female. Let's go to Proverbs 29, verse 15.
The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame.
Why it says his mother? It says the rod of reproof gives wisdom. What is that rod of reproof? What is that? That's the law. I'm giving the child the law. I'm showing that child legacy. I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat with my mouth with that child when I see that the child is going backwards or going left or right. I'm going to be straight up. I don't care how the child feel. I'm going to tell the child the truth. But a child left to himself brings his mother to shame. Why does it say it's his mother? Why did it say nothing about the father?
Because the child usually cleaves to the mother, or the mother's the one that usually has the child.
Correct. That's one. And why, and what's the other? And there's another point to that. It brings the mother's shame. Why? Why the mother?
Because maybe that mother has always been that one that child could always go to, even with good, bad, or wrong, and that mother's going to have that protective instinct about the situation. So she may or may not handle the chastisement or the punishment as would the father, depending on, you know, what the situation is.
Right. And there's another one. Why the mother, not the father? Because a lot of times the fathers are not there. So the child rebels and goes back and do things because the mother is there by herself. She's a single mother. So the mother has high hopes for her child, but the child disappoints her in those high hopes. And when it all comes back down, it runs back down to the mother, because the father, most of the time, the fathers are not there. Let's jump to verse 17. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Correct thy son, and he's going to give you rest. Think about it. He's going to give you rest when you correct him. It say nothing about him accepting it. It says something about you correcting him. Okay? Let's go back, Proverbs 23, verse 13. See, this is about telling the truth to your child. Raising your child in truth. Proverbs 23 and 13. This is what it says. It says, withhold not correction from the child. Withhold not correction from the child. For if thou beateth him with the rod, he shall not die. What that mean? If you beat him with a rod, he ain't gonna die. You know, sometimes when you spank a child and the child cry, that thing gets up under your heart and your soul. Oh, I ain't meant to hit you. But that child could be one of the wickedest ones. And that little spanking may have done the job. But because you are hurt now because you didn't really want to hit that child. The Bible's letting you know that baby ain't going to die. That's something that needs to come out of that baby. Because foolishness is stirred up in the heart of that child. Okay? Deuteronomy 6 and 7.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So when do you ever stop teaching?
You don't.
Okay.
It's a 24-hour 365 day of the year thing.
So we supposed to constantly teach. We don't supposed to ever stop teaching our children, because there's something that a child can always learn from you. But see, we stop teaching. And this be the problem. This be the problem. Let's go to Proverbs 13:24. Proverbs 13:24 says, he that spared his rod hated his son. See? That's why that teacher asks, are there any men around in your community? Because I'm tired of seeing these effeminate what? Males. Spare the rod. Shows that you hate your son. For allowing your son to be something other than being masculine shows that you hate him. And it's what a lot of females do. They show that they hate their child. But he that loveth him chastens him betimes. Mean many times. Because you don't want his soul to not be upright in him. You don't want your son's soul not to be upright in him. You want it to be upright. This is part of conception. The first part of conception is bringing forth the child. The next conception is what that child going to turn out to be once when you are finished, once when that child reach age. Proverbs 19:18.
Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying.
What that mean? Explain that.
Means that no matter how much they cry or how bad you feel, you should never stop chastening your child, because if you do, then their soul will be in jeopardy.
Right, and why it says when there's hope.
Because there's still time, you have to continue to teach them. There's still time, but you can't wait till it's too late or till they're at the point that it's, that their minds is not even, or they're too, while they're still younger, you're able to mold them and direct them. This is when you should be doing it. And even though it should be a continual thing, they're going to get to a point that they're going to have that rebellious period, and they're going to do what they're going to do because they feel they know better.
Correct.
So you just have to be mindful and aware.
Correct. 1 Samuel 27, 1 Samuel, the first chapter, 27 to 28. 1 Samuel, first chapter, verse 27 and 28. It says, for this child I pray, and the Creator has given me my petition, which I ask of him. See, a lot of times we be praying for our children, and the Creator gives you your prayer, answer. Look what verse 28 says. Therefore also I have what? Lent him to the Creator. As long as he live, he shall be lent to the Creator, and he worship the Creator there. How many of us turn our children over to the Creator? Or we turn them over to religion?
We instill religion, but a lot of times we're like, well, that's my child, and so we don't, because we become very possessive, and we forget that if it wasn't by the grace of the Most High letting us have this opportunity, then we wouldn't have it. So we are supposed to give them back, but we don't do that.
See, and that's the problem. We don't pay attention that of Proverbs 127:3. Proverbs 127:3 tells you who the seed belongs to, and who inheritance your child is. All that belongs to the Creator. That don't belong to you. But we'll sit there and we'll continue to sit there and say, oh, this is my child. It's not your child. It's the Creator's seed. That's the Creator's purpose. Like the sister said, you just was granted grace to be able to bring forth that child. Now, since you have that child, what are you going to do for that child? What are you going to teach that child? Isaiah 54:13. See, we have to be mindful.
Oh, I was going to read.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. And all thy children shall be taught of the Creator, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Read that one more time before we move forward.
And all thy children shall be taught of the Creator, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
When your children are not being taught of the Creator, there's no peace in their life. Because what's inside of your child's life is this system and this world that was taught to them, not of the Creator. So this is how the woman will have issues with her husband and being royal, because the curse or the judgment is also having her in a struggle of childbirth. And the females will not be raising masculine men who understand their roles as protectors. They're going to be raising effeminate men who tries to be the helpmeet. This is part of the woman's judgment. She's going to be raising effeminate men. She's going to be aborting her baby because she wants to continue to not have that parental responsibility as a parent. She's going to have problems dealing with her ovulation, meaning her body. These are the things that's going to be taking place with the female. She's not going to be able to find that role as being royal again. And she's going to raise effeminate men that's going to take charge over the nation or the house, which goes against Torah. These are the problems of the female. Now we're going to go to the next verse. Let's go back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to jump at verse 17. And verse 17 says, and unto Adam he said, behold, thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I command thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Now we're getting into the male part of the curse. And he said unto Adam, the male, the leader, because thou hast hearkened. Hold on, I'm not finished with the female. Excuse me. I'm jumping. I'm still in 16. Excuse me, Salakia. I'm still in 16. And he says, she's going to have a hard time bringing forth children. And thy desire to thy husband. So she's going to have a hard time bringing forth children. Being pregnant and bringing forth children and raising children. She's going to have a hard time. And then the Bible says, and your desire to your husband. Desire means longing. Longing for, or craving, or running after. So the female is going to be running after her husband. Okay? Let's grab another video. And let's look at two sisters that's going to break down what this desire is. Okay? Let's get into this video. Let me pull it up. Let me get in there and share my screen. These sisters going to break down what that desire is. Here we go here. Okay. Let me get into here. Let me share. These two sisters going to break the video down. Fair use for my material. This is for educational purposes only. Under the 1970 Act. Let's go.
We are
Let me start over.
So we are fashioned to be exactly what's necessary. And a lot of times men want and don't realize need. And so they want a proverb, and she has to adorn herself. You got to be modest, but show me what you're working with.
Yeah, look good, but don't do it for me privately. Don't let anybody else see it, and don't be too much of it, and do it on demand.
Right, do it when I tell you to, but don't be too good.
And then don't expect the man to actually arouse your attention first.
Right.
Like, you can't have that. It's all about his demand, and he gives.
You are on command, and that all is a lie. Everything. God is the problem in the beginning was, or a curse for the woman, was, I don't know if you guys, the curse, meaning the punishment for leading a man astray, was now you are going to desire this man. You are going to, so everything within you is going to want to give your all to this person. And so perspective, if you're giving it to the wrong person, now you are a sullied bride.
Uh-oh. So now, did you hear what she said? If you give your desire to the wrong person, see, that desire is not a good thing. If you pay attention to it, that is not a good thing, because you can give that desire to the wrong person. Let's see what she say, or let's see what they gonna say. Let's go.
And now you are in a position of complete torment and complete conflict with the will of who God is, and not only who God is, but what God has created for you. And because He hasn't created you to be a sullied bride, you are actually
a holy bride.
A holy bride.
His
And
desire
a
of a man means that He's ruling over you. Because if you want somebody, you're gonna let them do stuff that you really don't want them to do, or it's just because that desire is desire is just unfulfilled need in you that you will do anything to get. Where love is what completes you.
Did you hear what she just said? Desire is just something that you are looking to get fulfilled. But love is what completes you. See, a lot of females run after a desire. Let's go.
That is so, when you desire something, there is a void. There is a void that is not being filled. And by any means necessary, does this thing become filled. And a man will use the enemy man. Not.
Did you hear what she said? A desire is something that gonna stay away, and you're gonna try to fulfill that thing by any means necessary. And now she's getting ready to break down what type of man that is going to come after that desire. Let's ride this again and let's hear it again.
And by any means does this thing come filled. And will use the enemy man, the son of man, the flesh.
A man that has that we were just talking about, the effeminate men who think they understand what a man role is. But the son of God, man, a man who has been raised by a man and understand the legacy of that house, man that he was raised in. Those are the two different types of men that she's trying to describe. So let's go.
Man, but the
flesh.
Yes, the son of man will use everything that you need to his advantage. Everything, and by need, I mean everything that you're saying you're desiring. So I need this man because you're not a wife if you don't have a husband, right? Wrong. Okay. You're not a woman.
Well, that's not true. You can't be a wife. You cannot be a wife without a husband. So I don't agree with that. So let's ride.
If you haven't been touched. Wrong.
You need
you're not a woman if you haven't been touched. Wrong.
Now I agree with that. You are a female, you are a woman, and a woman's supposed to be a virgin until she gets married. Let's ride.
You need a provider. So
Right.
in order for me to provide, I'll do it on the condition that you submit to me in the marriage.
Yes.
So now the marriage is part of that hostage situation.
Yes. And we are, ladies, we are hijacked of our Proverbs 31. And
they're talking about a woman, she's looking for that desire, she's going into that desire, and she's being trapped into that desire by marriage, saying, well, I got to marry you in order to be a wife, in order to be this and that. Well, in a certain aspect, I agree with them, because the woman has to learn to be complete within herself and understand the curse that she's under. She has to learn to gain control of her realm, her role, before she talking about connecting to a man, and that man role in realm is out of order as well. So that's pretty much what they're saying. Let's go.
that is what's been taking place in your life. It's taking place in mine. It's also taking place in the life of Jasmine. And that's why she's able to speak from a place of not only experience, but also an educated place and also a holy place.
So any thoughts on this video? Because a female has to realize her role, that is within her role. See, that desire, she has to be very careful at who she allowed that desire to be with. And a lot of women will go after the wrong man, using that, being not knowing that they're being led by that desire. That's why he says, thy desire shall be unto thy husband. Desire means a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen, meaning to give your all to this person. This is a curse. It's not a blessing. This is a curse. A woman will go backwards, overboard, just to try to be what she claims she's supposed to be for that man, but she never learned to do that for herself. So then when she end up into a marriage, because a woman wants to be married, just like a man, some women wants to be married, just like some men wants to be married. She haven't yet learned to be complete within herself. So she will go overboard in that desire of wanting to keep that man. This is part of the judgment. Because now she learned to be a celibate bride, meaning a one that serves. And the woman is not there to serve the man like a slave. She's there to assist him. She is his succor, S-U-C-C-O-U-R, a succor, meaning an assistant, a helper. That's not a slave or a servant. Okay, let's get into one more video. And then we're going to jump into the man curse. Any comments so far before I move forward?
No, not this time.
I want you to keep in mind that this is a curse. Female wants to keep the male, get that male. This is a curse. And she don't realize she can give that desire wrong to the wrong person. His next video is, and he shall rule over thee, Genesis 3:16, part 1. All these videos that I'm pulling up, please go check their channel out and subscribe to them. Please go and subscribe to them. All right. Now, there's some things that this sister kind of talked about she kind of bringing her feelings, and I wants to just kind of bring that out at the end. She's going to try to put in what she believes, but it's not about what you believe. It's about what the creator has designed and what the creator has said. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's go. Fair use, fair use. Let's ride.
To talk about Genesis 3:16, and I want to analyze this text. And the reason why I would like to analyze this text is because this text in Genesis 3:16 is used among some believers and among some men, maybe even some women, to prove that women are not allowed to teach. And the basis of this belief is that man was meant to dominate and rule over the woman. We're going to look at this.
Well, the man wasn't never put to dominate over the female. Like I said at the very beginning of part one, both has the same purpose, but we have different roles and functions within that one purpose. Okay, let's go.
Text. And I really want to analyze what is being said here. And I think that the key issue that we have to decide is whether this is a command or a curse from Elohim.
That's a good question. We need to look at rather not if this is a command or a curse. Okay, some people say, oh, this is a command, and this is the reason why you have this and this and this. Let's go. Let's go.
Now, I am for women teaching, but if the word of Elohim said that a woman cannot teach, that's fine. I would go by that. But I sincerely do not believe that the word of Elohim is indeed saying that. I think it's saying quite the opposite. So
if a woman can't teach, then why would she teach babies? Why is it that it's not saying that a woman can't teach? There's a certain position that a woman teach in. There's a certain genre that the woman teach from. The same way like the male. Let's go.
What I'm going to do is read over this text, and I'm going to analyze what's really happening here. Now, we all know the story of Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve ends in sin. And as a result, there were curses in this earth. And because of that, we are all living in a sinful world because of what Adam and Eve have done. So let's get into the key text and let's see, is it Elohim's will that the husband or the man will rule over the woman? And let's get to the text right now and let's read Genesis 3:16. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And it says, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your man, and he shall rule over you. And that is found in Genesis 3:16. Now, the part that I want to pay attention to is the very one that says he shall rule over you. Now is the time where I want to analyze in this text, is this a curse or is this a command of Elohim that the man should over the woman? Now, the first thing that we want to note is that when Adam and Eve ate of the fruit of the tree, we know that from that point on, sin had now entered into the world. And as a consequence of this, there were curses that the Bible speaks of that were given down to the serpent, to Adam, to Eve. Let's first analyze what the curse was on the serpent against the woman. So those are the three things that the curse was put on the serpent. So it looks like it says the serpent shall go upon the toe. Look at Genesis chapter 3, verses 17 through 19. And this is these are the curses that were given to Adam as a result of him sinning against Elohim. I read at least 4 curses that belonged to Adam, and that consisted of 1, because of sin, the ground was cursed. And it says, cursed is the ground, and Now, the key text that needs to be analyzed concerning Eve is Genesis 3:16. Now, when we look at Genesis 3:16, I see at least 4 things as well that were given down as a curse to Eve. It said, 1, sorrow will greatly multiply during pregnancy or conception. 2, in sorrow shall she bring forth children. And 3, she will have a longing or a desire for her husband.
And we just talked
Then
about
fourth
that.
one, her husband shall rule over her. Now, if you look at these curses, these are not necessarily what I would consider commands coming from Elohim. These appear to me to be consequences and results of sin. These are not ideal. This was not his way for us to live. We were not supposed to sweat, and we were not supposed to, women were not supposed to bear a perfect world. It still would have been some type of pain during childbirth, but it would not have been great. Okay. And it says, in sorrow, shall she bring forth children. Like it would not have been that. Okay. So let's look at this. These are curses. You cannot look at this and not say that these are curses. These are absolutely curses. These are not commands by Elohim. These are the result of sin. Now, if you notice that the Sefer or the Bible consistently says in Genesis chapter 3, he shall, you shall, he shall, and I will. So if we say that Elohim commands in this current world that the husband shall rule over the wife as his plan, we must apply that to the other curses listed as well. I repeat that again. So we say that Elohim commands in this current world that the husband shall rule over the woman as his plan, we must apply that to the other curses that are listed as well. So if we're going to go with that logic, yes, that the man shall rule over the woman, the husband rules over the wife. Let's go with that logic. Even though I don't believe it, let's go with that logic. If the man is to rule over the woman, then that means that we must apply it to all of the curses that are listed. Okay? So it means that it must be Elohim's law and desire for women to have sorrow and childbearing. That is his desire. His desire is for women to have sorrow and childbearing. That's his law. That's his desire. Okay? And is also his Elohim's or Yahuwah's desire for men to rear wives. It must be Elohim's law and desire for women to have sorrow and childbearing. It must be Elohim's law and desire for men to rule over their wives. And it must be Elohim's law and desire for men to eat in sorrow. It's his law and desire for thorns and thistles to exist. It is his law and desire for man to die and return to dust. That's what he wants. He wants us to die. Does this really make sense? Does this really make sense?
Do y'all see what she's saying? See, some people say, oh, he shall rule over thee. Like I was in conversation earlier this week with I think two or three people, and they say, oh no, the Creator's reestablishing marriage. Why would he need to do that? He already established it, so why would he need to reestablish it? Why he didn't reestablish the marriage with Adam? He only reestablished marriage with the woman. See, that makes no sense. So you have to really be paying attention to what is really being said. So let's go.
Because in my mind, this doesn't make sense. Elohim does not want us to die. Elohim does not want us in sorrow. But this is what we're saying. We're saying that this he wants. He wants the man to rule as a law over the woman, and you can't isolate this one curse from the other ones. It is saying as a result of sin, as a result of sin, the man will want to rule over you. It's not saying that he is commanding that the man rule over the woman. It's saying as a result of sin, this is what a man is going to do. He's
And when we get into the man curse in just a second, you're going to see why she's saying what she's saying. Let's go.
going to want to rule over you. It's not saying that he's commanding it, but he is saying this is a consequence of sin, that the man, he will want to rule over the woman. And clearly we can see that for the fact that men don't want women involved in the gospel. They're constantly teaching, some groups, not all, some groups are teaching that this is chapter 1, verse 29. We can clearly see what his plan was from the beginning concerning man and wife. Now in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, did I say 29? I meant Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It says, and Elohim blessed them. Now keep in mind, them is plural. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Genesis 1:28. Now, if you notice, it says, and Elohim blessed them. That's plural. So that means both Adam and Eve, he said, bless them. And Elohim said unto them, both of them, both Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Did he tell Adam to rule over her? No. Did he tell Eve to rule over him? No. He said for them to both. He said man and woman, them. He said have dominion over the fish.
Now, how do the women have dominion over the fish? Is it like the male? No. See, like I told y'all, the chessboard, the woman is a powerful piece on the board, but she's not the most important piece. The king is the most important piece. But the female has to learn how to operate her influence and her swaying into the kingdom of her husband, not outside the kingdom. Let's go.
Adam and Eve have dominion over the sea, the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. He is giving both of them command not to rule over each other. He's saying have dominion over the fish, over the sea, over the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. He is saying to Adam and Eve, both of you dominate over the other creation, not each other. That was his plan. So if you're saying that his plan, Elohim's plan, is for us, for men to rule over women, you're saying that he's endorsing sin. If it was so apparent that he wanted women to be ruled over by husbands, why did he only initiate this response after they
After
sinned?
the curse. That's right. Go
He
ahead.
said before sin for them both to rule over the earth. And then all of a sudden when sin is his desire for the man to rule over the woman. I'm not buying that. Now, when we look at the Decalogue, which is the 10 Commandments, I want to examine the language. Now, if you get some time, just skim the commandments, which are. Now, what I gather from this, the text is saying that because of sin in the future, man's heart would change. When he created both male and female equal, but because of sin entering into the world, it's that men would want to dominate over them.
Now, I want you to pay attention to that because she's kind of getting into the male curse. And we're gonna analyze that in just a second. She's going to kind of go off left field by what she believes, and I'm show y'all what I'm talking about. Go ahead. Let's go.
Not that he wanted it to, but he's telling you in the future, this is what they're going to do. He's not commanding it, just like he didn't really command that anybody die. He is saying that these are consequences. As a consequence of sin, man is going to rule over the woman. He did not command it. He's telling you what will happen. It's just like if I tell you that if you put your hand on a hot stove, you will be burned. I'm not saying that it's a command. I'm saying that's a consequence of you putting your hand on a hot stove. You will get burned.
Right. So she's saying that that's a consequence for the female doing what she did, and it caused a ruckus, or it destroyed her marriage. So now the male is going to have a response back towards her by what she did. Let's ride.
That is not a command. It's a consequence. And people want to just isolate the part where it says he shall rule over you and pair that with 1 Timothy 2:12 and say, oh, that means that a woman can't teach. She can't have authority, because if she teaches and she has authority, then that means that she's over the man.
No, the woman has authority just as much as the male has authority, but their authority is within their own roles. I don't think people are getting this. It's the chess piece. The queen has her purpose on that chessboard. And what is her purpose? Her purpose is to protect the kingdom she's in. And not allowing the king to be checkmated. Because you could take the queen off the board. But the moment you surround the king, all those other pieces on that chessboard is fruitless. It's void. Because the most important piece on the chessboard is the king. Let's go.
And that's a violation of Torah. No, it's not. That's a lie that you're giving of Torah. It's a lie. Women have the authority to teach men, women, children, whoever they want to teach, as long as they're not conflicting with the word of Elohim.
There you go right there. As long as they are staying within the realms of Torah, it doesn't matter who's teaching. Period. Let's go.
And also, I want to conclude with the text in Genesis 2:18. Now, when Genesis 2:18, I think this clarifies a lot of the nonsense that are coming from these people, because these are very weak arguments. I'm serious. These are very weak arguments. And I don't hear enough women speaking out against it. So this is why I am doing this particular topic. And I have a lot more to say about this issue. But let's read Genesis 2:18 and let's see how this relates to the discussion of can women have authority. And Genesis 2:18 says, and Yahuwah Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So Elohim said, I will make him a helpmeet. So I don't believe at all that Eve was weak. I believe that Eve probably carried the same.
Here's her opinion. She said, I believe. This is her opinion. All right, let's ride.
If not.
And watch the effemination come in. About the effemination, about being with the man, equal domination over the man. Let's ride.
Maybe slightly less. She probably had the same amount of strength that Adam had.
Why did she need that? See? That's feminization. A woman don't need that kind of strength like a man. She don't. That's right.
Probably more than any strength that any modern day man right now, even at the strongest level, has.
See?
Always got
to be stronger than the man. That's feminization. Let's go.
We had every muscle in her body developed.
See, why does she need muscles? Why does it sound like she got to have muscles like a man? Why? Let's go.
And I believe that she had every bit of strength and she was helping him out in the field. Because a lot of people say, well, the woman belongs in the house, because the command for Adam is for him to be out in the field. No, I think she was out there in the field helping him. Why would Elohim produce an inferior creature as a helpmeet? She had to be able to carry just as much of the load as Adam did if she's going to be a helper.
I agree with that. She has to learn, but she has to learn to carry that role within her role, not competing with his role. Let's go.
How is she going to be a helper if she's weaker than he is?
It's not about being weaker. It's about staying within the realm of you. And he stayed within the realm of himself. Let's go.
So I think she had equal strength to Adam.
See, equal strength. Equal strength. Why does she need to have equal strength to him? Because you wants to be a man. Let's ride.
Or if she was not equal, it was slightly less.
See, slightly less. Meaning that anytime she could overtake him. Listen, peep the game. Let's keep going.
you know, and a lot of times we have bodybuilders who build up their muscle and we say, oh, these women who are bodybuilders look like men. No, they look like themselves. And I believe that our idea of beauty has been altered.
See, but anybody can tell you what a woman look like. If she look emasculate, or she look masculine, or she look effeminate. Let's go.
Because I believe that the original woman had
Go ahead.
Fully developed muscles.
She said she believed that a woman back then, during Adam and Eve time, had fully developed muscles. Let's go.
And they were strong. And I think one of the reasons why over the years women probably got weaker and weaker is because when we started probably using less of our muscles, every time we move, what do? We always ask the men to move things. We don't try to, lift weights or anything like that. And I think biologically, they probably just became stronger. But the first woman in the Garden of Eden, I believe she was assisting in doing a lot of the hard labor that that Adam was doing. I don't think.
But see, that's her belief. See, this is where I keep trying to tell y'all about the curse. Let's go.
I think she was just sitting in the house bearing children, and that's it. I believe she was out there. She was helping Adam. So when we look at the fact that Elohim created Adam and Eve, he created her as a helper to him. So she was helping him. And never at any time did Elohim say during creation or even after creation that the woman had to be ruled over by her husband. These are simply consequences of sin. The man does not rule over the woman, does not rule over the man. But the issue is that men and women have different roles.
Okay, so she finally come out and said it. They have different roles. Okay, let's ride.
That's the only difference. The men can teach, the women can teach. We just have different and distinct roles.
Right, but there's what you call order in the homes. But go ahead, let's go.
Our roles are different, but we are still capable of helping each other without ruling over each other. The man produces the seed and the woman carries the seed. That's the difference. We're not to rule over each other. The man is not greater than the woman, and the woman is not greater than the man. We are both the same. We just have different functions. The man, like I said, produces the seed and the woman carries it. But those are our distinct differences, but we are all equal. We are not less than or greater than. We are all equal, and both the man and the woman, we both need each other in order to be fruitful and multiply.
So I want to end the video right there. We need each other, but we have to learn to stay within the role. Anybody got anything to say before we move forward?
There were some things that she said that that was true, and I know there was a lot of things she expressed her opinions on, but like just between both of the videos, it just kind of gives you some enlightenment on the perspective of how some people think and how they feel, but all things have to still line up with the word, and we just have to be mindful of that too.
Right, because she didn't say, she got into her little feelings of what she thought Eve looked like and blah, blah, blah. But other than that, she was literally saying what the curse was. It's not a command. It was an actual curse.
Right, and I don't think we actually look at it like that. But if you kind of sit back and you read the scriptures and you see how things are, then it's like, okay, I can kind of see how all of this is a curse, from just beginning of a lot of things that we deal with emotionally, physically, with our bodies and everything. And it is what it is. It may be a hard pill to swallow for some, but it is what it is. And we just have to, I guess the word I'm just trying to say is that we have to, I guess, knowing what it is will help you to kind of understand why certain things are happening, but then what are we going to do about it?
That's right. So the only way what we can do about it is learning the actual positions that we're supposed to be in and flow within those positions. We can't come out those positions even though how we feel. And that's why I'm showing what was the curse about the woman. And we're going to get into the curse of the man in a second. And when it says that he shall rule over thee. But if I look into the language, over thee is not even there, but let's just take it and put it on the table. And he, meaning the husband, this is the attitude the male would take towards the female. And he shall rule. Shall rule means to have dominion, to cause to rule, to exercise dominion, gain control, govern, have authority. The Creator did not ask the man to govern the wife. He was told to take care of the what? Garden. He had dominion over all the earth. It said nothing about the wife. This is the attitude that the male is going to have towards the female, and he shall. Shall rule is have a dominion, cause to rule, to exercise dominion, gain control, to gain control, to gain control, govern, have authority. Gain control means to act forcibly, disposing an owner of property, dispossessing an owner of property. And dispossessing means to deprive someone of land, property, or other possessions. So he's going to deprive the woman. The male is going to deprive the woman of her role. This is the fight. See, once when the fall happened, the male now turns and have an attitude towards the female. And the creator was warning her, telling her what's the fallout going to be looking like. He's going to deprive her of self-control. He's going to try to control her. He's going to need and feel need to control her. Patience, love, kindness, generosity, and wisdom. The male is going to try to control all those avenues in her. To provide for his family, to protect his family, to be a role model for his children, to be a good husband, to be involved in the community. He's going to literally fight with her for these positions. To provide for his family, to protect his family, to be a role model for his children, to be a good husband, to be involved in his community. This is what the female and the male is going to fight about. They're going to be trying to gain control of the house. They're going to be trying to gain control of the house. Let's check out one more video. These are some brothers. And they're going to be breaking down the role. We're not going to watch the whole video. They're going to be breaking down the role, and then we're going to jump into the male's curse. We're going to go through a little bit of the male's curse. And then we're going to wrap it up. This one is men should have a certain level of control over their women. This is King's Talk clip. We're not going to check the whole video out. I'm just going to skip to it. And then we're going to get into the male's curse. Okay. All right. Let's get into a share of the screen. They're going to be fighting. It's out of order now. The house is out of order. And this brought an attitude into the male. So let's fair use, fair use. This is not my material. This is for criticism, teaching purposes only under the Fair Use Act of 1970. So fair use for your caboose. Let's ride.
And that's the natural order of that's natural order. So support them in a myriad of ways. Support can be, you know what, she may not agree with everything you say. You know, she may not, if you're an entrepreneur or whatever, she may not agree that, you know, you quit your job and go out and start this new business. But I'm still gonna need you to keep the household, hold the household down. I'm still gonna need you to cook these meals. I'm still gonna need you to teach these children. Like your woman should be the most important investment that you make. She should be the most valuable teammate that you have.
Remember I just sat there and told y'all the chessboard. She's the powerfulest piece on the board. Let's go.
You know, but the same token, she's still supporting everything that you're doing. And if she's got that law degree, if she's a doctor, you support her in a particular way, but her role is still her role in that household. So that's all I got.
Now I want y'all to pay attention to what he said. If she's a lawyer, you support her in a particular way. All right. Now, check this next brother out of what he is about to break down. Let's go.
Go ahead, Ricky. Okay, so the subject matter is if your woman doesn't support you, you should leave, right? Now, I apologize that y'all went out on a tangent, but it's okay, right?
Damn, Rick.
Now, I was thinking the same thing, Rick. I was going to say that before you did.
Now, even though people don't look at it like this, when it comes to support, it's a two-way street. You support her, she supports you.
Did you catch that? He supports her, she supports you. That is the way it was designed from the beginning. But something happened. Let's ride.
The reason why problems we are right now, because nobody don't know their role. Don't nobody know what they supposed to be doing. We supposed to be giving to each other, right?
We supposed to be giving to each other. That's right.
And what's crazy to me, Brandon J. Madden, your woman's your most, she your MVP, your most valuable player, big and vet, but make sure you send up.
Damn right. Hey, cause your MVP, your star player, still got a contract.
She might really want to play for the Lakers.
Contract.
You don't know it,
right? But let me finish my point, though. Right? It's like, look, it's not about natural. I think that's where we start to miss a lot of points.
So you watch the brother about to break it down. It's not a natural thing. Let's keep going.
Points, and I'm trying to see, right? I'm starting to see. Shout out to 2023. Don't settle, right? The thing is this. We can say it's the natural order of things, but we know that's a lie, because if that was the case, y'all wouldn't have the distinction between traditional women and modern women, right? To go one way, some women choose to go another. Some men choose to go one way, some men choose to go another, right? So again, if you want the best support out of your woman, that means you should be supporting her to the fullest, right? That means you as a man should be taking those obstacles out her way where she don't have to go out there and get money like you get money.
Uh-oh. Did you catch that? See, if it's about really this and that, then we have to really get to that point where it's that the woman does not have to do the things she does to be able to go get money. He about to break it in. Let's go.
Right? But you expect that because you want a certain lifestyle.
See, and we're getting into the curse. Let's go.
Right? So with that being said, if she's out there getting it, and y'all know how I feel about this, if she's out there getting it and she's out there being masculine and she's out there fighting the world just like you do, her support and time and resources are going to be limited.
Oh, so now look at what he just said. Look at what he just said. If she's out there doing what you're doing, then how is it that you want her to support you the same way as she's supposed to support you according to scripture? You haven't took the obstacles out of her way, but she's out there trying to get it just like you, because if she sit home, she's going to be starving. So how did she support you in that way? How? Let's go.
Very true.
They're going to be limited. The same way we can sit up here and make the arguments about, oh, we can't spend all the times with the kids and the family because we out here getting it. We working 12-hour days. If you ain't working 60 hours a week, you're not working enough, right? So it's the same thing. Y'all not being fair. And I ain't saying life is fair, but when it's in your relationship, you guys are supposed to make it as fair as possible.
See, you're supposed to make it balanced. A female and a male and a female role supposed to balance themselves together. Like I told you, we have the same purpose. Our roles supposed to balance one another, not to control each other. That's right.
Run this thing together. I support you, you support me, right? And we'll get it out the mud together, right? But again,
that's what an assistant does. Let's go.
You gotta pick a woman that.
Let me get rid of this commercial real quick. Let's go.
Has that understanding. The biggest thing everybody keep missing. Y'all say y'all understand women. Y'all say y'all got the isms. You say y'all game on 10, right? But what's wrong that you can't pick a woman that falls into your realm of standards and possibilities?
So now he's saying, what's wrong with the male that you can't pick a woman that is in your realm? Watch how he's about to break this down. And we're going to end it when he do this. Let's go.
That's the big question. Why can't you find a woman that falls into your standard, into your lane of possibilities? And same for the ladies. Hey, Trill, let me tell you something. You know what? All my shit is circular because it's true, right? This is what people don't understand. It's not, you think you good. Good men get scooped up. Good men find them a woman. They say, tell me I'm like, we going to be like, man, I know hoes with good men. Facts. That's facts, right? But then we'll sit up here and what they say, we're here, oh, that's a good girl, but she messing with a pookie. Nah, bro, you not a good person. You not a good person. Either you not ready for the type of relationship you asking for, or you don't have those qualities, period. Because good men find a good woman, because a good man has standards that he not gonna let a woman run all over him. He ain't gonna let her get over on her. He gonna vet her. He gonna put her through something so he know where he stand with her. Right? And a good woman not gonna let no man just sit up there and treat her and dog her any type of way. She gonna have certain standards. She gonna have certain beliefs. She gonna have certain stuff that she stand on. Right? So find somebody that jive with you. I keep telling y'all this every week. Find somebody who mess with you, bruh. Like for real, mess with you. It shouldn't be no guessing game. If I'm chasing something to be caught, right? Not something that just running.
Did you catch that? He chases something that can be caught, not something that just gonna constantly run.
Right? So just stop trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole, bruh. Stop it. Firstly,
What's going on, Lee?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Hey, how?
Nah. We're gonna catch you a little bit of this brother right here. Let's go.
Hello to the panel, everyone. What's going on?
Interesting
Conversation tonight.
Very interesting conversation tonight.
Yeah.
You know, having a woman that don't support you, I do think when it comes to support, there are different types and levels of support. I think you as the man, what it is, where you're going in life and what you're building, and the woman that you're going to choose to be with, how you see her fitting into your zone. Whether the woman is a professional woman and working, that should not be an issue. Education and making money, that has nothing to do with nothing, right? It's where she sees her being with you in this union, family, business, whatever you guys call it, marriage, where she see herself with you and where you guys going together. Because in a relationship, there's one leader. It doesn't mean that you don't sit and counsel with your woman. Women see things that men never see, bro. Never see. Their perspective on the world is completely different than us. And if you have a woman that you can't respect her opinion and a perspective and a point of view, you're going to miss out. It is totally off. So I think, as men, particularly as young men, and when it comes to choosing a woman, I think you want to find out from the woman in your vetting, communication, dating, sifting stage to find out what type of woman you're dealing with. Find out what her objectives are too in life. Because if her objective is to be the president of Coca-Cola,
we're gonna leave it right here.
And you just want to live a simple life, that marriage is not going to work. She's dealing with power where she's headed. And it's very hard, I don't care who the woman is, to take off that jacket of power and walk into the house and totally submit to a man. Not that she won't attempt to, but she's thinking 10 things when you're thinking 2 things. It's like, what's the woman name that was married to Jeff Bezos?
See, did you catch what he said? If the woman is trying to gain power into a certain realm, how do you want her to come home and submit to you, who's not trying to obtain that type of power? It's not going to fit. And a male will like that female, that kind of female with that mindset, to stay within the realm of him. But she's getting it. But he still want her to help him. See, we have to be very mindful that if I choose a female, it's the female that is within my realm of understanding, not a female that is trying to go to another realm that I'm not trying to get into. But I still want that particular female to be on my level and to submit to me. It ain't gonna work. That's your fight. That's another fight that you have within the house. And coming to close, the woman will still become meaning a lot of women will be not married. Number 2, the female will do anything and everything to accept and fit in and will struggle. Number 3, the female in hardship will have issues with getting pregnant or bringing forth children. Number 4, the female will crave for a husband, meaning a champion. She's going to crave for that, meaning she's going to 9 times out of 10 give her desire to the wrong person, to the wrong male. And number 5, the female will not allow the male to just take charge, so she will compete against the male for rulership. This is what's going to take place. And now we turn to verse 17, and we're going to end. We're not going to get through the whole verse. And he said unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the what? Voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I command thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Now let's break down half of this verse. Adam is the first man, meaning he's the head of that nation. And he uttered because he said, because you listened, meaning you obeyed the utterance. The voice means the utterance of your wife. That's your helpmeet. So the question is it wrong for a husband to listen to his wife? No. He's supposed to listen to his wife. He's supposed to take counsel from his wife. But question, what she is bringing to him. Eve brought something that was not benefiting to the house nor her husband, to her husband. That is why he's now being judged, Adam. Let me read Genesis 2:15. Let me read that real quick. Genesis 2:15 says, and the Creator took the man and put him in the garden of the east to what? Dress it and keep it. That's why he put man in the garden, to dress it and to keep it, protect it, and to make sure that everything stays functioning the way it was created to function. That's the man's job. Let's go to Joshua 2:15. Everybody should be familiar with this verse, especially if you're in the church. Then she let him down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town's wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. Why did I get that? I don't know why I got that. Joshua 2:15. Hold on. It's wrong. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up real quick. See, it was the man's job. It was the man's job. Joshua, okay, I left off the 4. It's 24:15. I put 2. It's Joshua 24:15. Joshua 24:15. And this is what it says. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Creator, choose you this day whom you shall serve. Rather the gods of which your father served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But Joshua said, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Creator. Meaning Joshua understood that it was his job to dress it and to keep it. It was not his job to allow anything to dominate his house. And that goes for him and his wife together. They had to be a partnership. But within that partnership, there were different roles that has to come together to be able to become balanced. So it was not wrong for him to listen to his wife, especially if his wife is bringing him righteous counsel. But it was wrong for him to listen to his wife when it was out of order for him to be a part that she brought something that was out of touch of the house and of the road that she was in. And he says, and had eating of the tree, you devour, you consume out from the solid surface that is unyielding to you. Meaning you move towards it, you change for it. But that surface never changed for you. Because you wasn't ready for that surface to be, you wasn't ready to deal with that surface. Of that which I command thee, of that which I ordered you, saying, consume nothing. And that word not means before time. You wasn't ready to eat of that tree. You wasn't in position to deal with that fruit. So the Creator told Adam that he was not to consume from the tree before he was ready to and did not understand it. But he still disobeyed by listening to his wife. And then try to blame it on his wife. Not to eat of it. Adam didn't supposed to consume that fruit. So, but Adam ate of it. Regardless of the Creator's law. This is what got Adam punished. Because he listened to his wife who brought something to him that was not ordained or that was not in time to do it. Adam was supposed to have shut that thing down. That's being the protector of the garden. So the Creator says, since you did this thing and you listened to your wife who was out of order, you didn't challenge your wife, you didn't check your wife. You just allow her to just do whatever. He said, curse is the ground. Curse means annoyance or irritation. Meaning Adam is going to be very unlucky to have this position. It's going to annoy him now. And the ground means a specific plot of land or territory, meaning the area that the Creator put him in, the east part of the garden, is now cursed. He cursed his own dwelling. And it says, for thy sake. For thy sake means the pain or hardship. So Adam realized that the ground of the garden irritates or create a displeasure for him. He's not going to have it good no more. Meaning Adam will be angry, provoked, and impatient about the territory he's supposed to be ruling. Now you see why it says he shall rule over thee? Because this is an attitude that is now coming from Adam. He realized what he have lost. Irritate means to cause impatient anger or displeasure in. He's annoyed. And then he says, for thy sake shall thou eat it. Shall thou eat it. You're going to consume it. All means the totality. The days of thy life, meaning a division of time. This is going to be your appetite. Meaning Adam is not going to get around this thing. He's going to be angry. Anything is going to provoke him. He's going to be impatient. And he's going to have to consume this until the day he rests his eyes closed. Adam was told he will have to live in this annoying state forever. This is just getting into the curse of the man, the male. We're going to end it right here. We just getting into the curse of the male. He's not coming out of this state. And he realized he's not going to come from out of this state. So guess what? Guess what? He realized that there's nothing else he can do. He done lost everything. He lost everything. And how do you think that make him feel? See? And this is why the Creator told him he shall rule over thee. We're going to pick up verse 18 on next Shabbat. But this Shabbat, we're going to come on class. We're going to have the lesson on Friday night. We're going to do the lesson on Friday night because we're going to celebrate our Pesach on the Shabbat, Saturday, at around between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, like I say, happy Feast of Abib. Happy Abib. Happy New Year's to each one of you. Anybody got anything to say before we close out? Anybody got anything to say before we close out? Anybody got anything to say before we close out? Go ahead.
Oh, just want to say, again, Shabbat to everybody. All praises to the Most High. All praises for another new year. Just happy to be able to see another new year and to continue to learn and grow in His Word, to grow in His laws, His statutes, and His commandments. And all praises to the Most High. And happy Shabbat and Shalom to everyone.
So we thank the Creator. We're going to get into the male curse this Friday night, sundown. And it's going to get deeper. This is just the beginning. The male going to have a real rugged attitude now because he realized what he lost. And it's not going to be pleasant towards the female. And this is what's causing the war between the male and the female. They lost. And the male going to have it hard in his realm and according to his role. The same way as the female have it hard in her role. So until next Shabbat, on Friday night. We're going to start at 7 o'clock Friday night. We're going to start at 7 o'clock Friday night. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel or have others to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Share this channel. Press thumbs up, press thumbs down. Just do something. Just do something. And make sure you subscribe to the page. All right. So may the rest of your day and your Shabbat be peaceful, relaxful, and restful. Until next Shabbat in the Creator's will, we thank you for joining us. Like I say, this is my Shabbat, and if you celebrate Shabbat and this is your Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. And if you don't, take care until next week. Peace.